Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 10.
Now at 10, grabbed, dragged, and kicked. Police say this man who was supposed to watch over students instead attacked one with Down syndrome. Tonight, reaction from the school district where he worked. Jonathan.
Freeze warnings and cold weather advisories in play for tonight. We'll talk about how cold it gets into your area and how long it stays that way in a few minutes.
But
ice walkouts across Central Florida. The message from top school officials if your student plans to participate. Next.
But first, we're hearing from a mother as law enforcement pursues an arrest for her son's murder. The 18-year-old was gunned down in a local park just days before Christmas. Tonight, one of the two people described as persons of interest in the shooting of Juan Gomez Jr. is in custody, questioned by Leesburg detectives. Good evening to you. I'm Eric Von Eyck, and so glad you could make it. This is News 6 at 10, and we want to get you up to speed. This was a shooting that really rattled this community because it happened in the middle of the day here at Berry Park, where a lot of people take their kids to play. Your Lake County community correspondent Ashley Garrett was back at Berry Park this evening, where one of those men that detectives have been wanting to speak to about this case was found.
Thursday, in this area of Berry Park in Leesburg, Florida, authorities confirmed taking into custody a James Fenderson IV. Now, we know that name, James Fenderson IV, might sound familiar to a lot of you watching. It's because back in December, News 6 confirmed with Leesburg PD that Fenderson IV was named a person of interest in the shooting death of 18-year-old Juan Gomez Jr. It actually happened while Gomez Jr. was in a car at this very park. I'm going to step out of this shot and walk you through the case, tell you how we got here. Back in December, Leesburg police confirmed to News 6 Juan was shot and killed while in a car at Berry Park. Thursday's arrest happening in the same area. This new video provided by Jody Nix on Facebook shows what's believed to be multiple members of the U.S. Marshals Task Force around the same time Leesburg police announced Thursday's update in a homicide case. In addition to naming Fenderson IV a person of interest in the shooting death of Gomez Jr. back in December, Leesburg police named a second person of interest identified as DeAndre Wright. Thursday, Leesburg police confirmed the search is still on for Wright. Also Thursday, we got word from Valerie Long, that's Juan's mom. Among other things, she says she's thankful justice is being served, but she still says Thursday's arrest doesn't take away from the hole she's feeling in her heart. Her son Junie's life was taken away. And we can tell you that News 6 will be staying on top of this story as the search for DeAndre Wright is still underway. That's coming from Leesburg police. We'll continue to update this story as new details become available, but for now, we'll send things back to you in Lake County. Ashley Garrett, News 6.
Ashley, thank you. Now, if you can help police track down that remaining person of interest, here's his picture on the left. Call the number on the right. The number is the crime line, of course, where you can leave a tip. You could get a reward, and you can stay anonymous. New at 10, kicked, dragged, and grabbed. Daytona Beach police say they've arrested a high school employee accused of attacking a student with Down syndrome. 50-year-old Dontel Wright walked out of Seabreeze High School today in handcuffs. Daytona Beach police say that Wright kicked the 17-year-old student, and they say when the kid tried to run and hide behind some bleachers, Wright dragged the teen out. Wright is a paraprofessional at Seabreeze. He's charged with cruelty towards a child. Daytona Beach police say that the teenager involved is okay. We wanted to know, though, if Wright is still working at Seabreeze after his arrest. So we reached out to Volusia County Schools and got this statement. It reads in part, quote, "The employee has been immediately reassigned away from students pending the outcome of this investigation. The district also says it is fully cooperating with law enforcement. We will certainly stay on top of this for you." You probably noticed how cold it got again and how quickly that happened. We even got a freeze warning for one of our Central Florida counties. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas is tracking this newest cold snap.
Yeah.
And the question, Jonathan, how long is this one going to last?
For one night only.
Okay.
So enjoy it if you like the chill, because we are talking about a big time warm up. It'll be cool the next couple of nights, but certainly the coldest and most impactful going to be tonight. This is where we stand. This is the change over the past 24 hours. So we're running anywhere from about 10 degrees to, in some cases, close to 20 degrees colder at this hour when compared to just after 10 o'clock last night when we spoke. Temperatures right now are in the upper 30s already in Ocala. We're back to the lower 40s in Denellen, 46 in Orlando. We are at 44 in Oviedo. All because of this new cold front that came by earlier today is now blasting back out over to the Atlantic, delivering us that colder, drier air that is going to keep skies mainly clear. It's going to keep the wind cranked up as well, so there will be a slight wind chill. Certainly, again, nothing like what we saw last week. There is that breeze, still seeing gusts at times pushing 30 to even 35 miles an hour, especially along the Space Coast. We'll talk about how cold it gets into your neighborhood coming up at about 10:17, Eric.
See you then, Jonathan. Thank you. Due at 10, a major new discovery in the Epstein files is linking the convicted sex offender to Cocoa Beach. One document News 6 has come across appears to suggest Jeffrey Epstein was here in Central Florida and visited several businesses, including a restaurant popular for sightseeing. There are words and sentences blacked out, but the document generally lays out a phone call to the FBI's National Threat Operations Center in July of 2019. The person claims to have been reporting Epstein's human trafficking activities in various cities in Florida. According to the document, the caller mentions that Epstein and two other men were with underage girls at a restaurant called The Grill near the cruise ships, a strip club called Cheaters, and then it mentions other upscale docks and marinas, but not by name. It is important to note there are no charges associated with any of those businesses named. Students across the nation have been walking out of class all week, all in protest of ICE operations in their communities and across the country. These are some of those scenes from places like Texas, Georgia, and California. All of this, of course, stemming from the two deadly shootings involving federal agents in Minneapolis. In Central Florida, both state and local officials are warning students, though, there could be consequences for leaving school during class time. And despite that, there have been a couple of walkouts this week, with more planned for tomorrow. Your Orange County community correspondent, Troy Campbell, spoke with the superintendent about the district's plan.
Yeah, Superintendent Vasquez says it's important for parents to have conversations with their children on the topic of ICE, but says if they walk out in protest during school time, they'll face consequences. What is your thoughts about students walking out during school hours to protest ICE?
I think that that's part of their First Amendment rights.
Brandon Morrell says he has two children who attend Orange County Public Schools. He says he received this message from OCPS, forwarded from the Florida Department of Education, warning of the consequences if students walk out in protest during school hours. Do you think some of these students should face consequences if they walk out during school?
It's a tricky subject because on one side they are breaking the rules, but on the other side, the cause is just.
Our staff knows what needs to happen. Our students understand that we maintain an orderly environment.
OCPS Superintendent Maria Vasquez says there haven't been any issues with walkout protests recently, but says staff is always prepared.
Anytime we are alerted that it's going to happen, and it has typically been a few days in advance.
In Lake County, school officials are also warning students after they say there was a group that walked out in an ICE protest Wednesday outside Leesburg High School. The school warned students who participated may face suspension. The district says it, quote, recognizes the students retain First Amendment rights, but adds leaving campus without authorization and refusing directives to return to class creates serious safety and supervision concerns and causes disruption of school operations. In Brevard County, social media posts show there are several ICE protests planned for Friday at 3 different high schools. Earlier this week, Brevard County School Board Chair Matt Susan reminded students of the consequences if they participate.
From some of the reports that are coming back and forth, it seems that a lot of the kids are seeing the fact that it's just become a bunch of adults fighting each other online.
And Superintendent Vasquez says they will continue to monitor for any possible upcoming walkouts. In the meantime, of course, we will continue to keep you updated on what happens on Friday in Brevard County. Outside OCPS, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Walking through history, meet the people preserving the legacy of Winter Park's Black history. You're watching News 6 at 10 live on a Thursday night, covering Deltona, Sanford, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Central Florida Honda Dealers.
One couple has not been able to live in this home for the past 3 years. It was damaged during Hurricane Ian. You can see the cracks, the home starting to buckle. Now, the couple says they applied for a FEMA grant to fix their home. But years later, they say their application has not been touched. I'm News 6 investigator Erica Bergoglio, and I found out they are not alone.
Look at the cracks because of the settlement.
As Cheryl Booth's home of 20 years cracks and crumbles.
This one is enough to scare anybody. Look at this.
So does her spirit. It seems like it was well lived in. How does it feel being in your home now, seeing it empty, cracked?
I'm going to tell you this. I've been here several times because it is my home. But seeing it like this is very, very unsettling. I don't have a home.
Booth and her husband have not lived here for more than 3 years after floodwaters from Hurricane Ian burst through their New Smyrna Beach home in the middle of the night. When did you realize that you were not going to be able to live in your home
I
anymore?
realized that the very night that it happened. With the amount of water that was in the house, I just couldn't see it.
A structural engineer deemed their house uninhabitable. The Booths applied for FEMA's Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, which helps rebuild or harden homes. But years later, Booth's grant application has not been touched. The last update she got was in December, saying it still needs to be reviewed by FEMA.
I'm still paying a mortgage on a house I can't live in, homeowner's insurance, flood insurance.
Booth is not alone. The city of New Smyrna Beach says several projects linked to this grant, such as the work being done here at 27th Avenue Beachfront Park, are also in a holding pattern. The city says it needs to be reimbursed before these projects can be completed and inspected. We wanted to get to the bottom of this. I asked FEMA the reason for the holdup. FEMA says when the Florida Division of Emergency Management submits an environmental review, FEMA will then move the project to the next steps. I called and emailed the Division of Emergency Management. I am still waiting for a response to our questions. We want to make sure Booth's application gets reviewed, so News 6 also reached out to her congressman, Representative Corey Mills. His office is looking into this. We will let you know what happens. Erica Bergoglio, News 6.
Erica is our newest investigative reporter. That was a fantastic story, Erica. Thank you. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagis tracking one night of this.
One night. It's one of those for one night only. But we've had enough of it prior to it. If you don't like the cold, it's not going to stick around too much longer this time around. Chilly when you wake up tomorrow. 40 in Daytona, 39 in Ocala, 37 in Wildwood, back to the mid-40s right now in Kissimmee. Miko, good evening. We are at 45 degrees as we take that tumble tonight. We've already fallen into the 30s in Ocala. We're going to start in the 30s for the most part tomorrow, so it is cold. Although this is going to be nothing even close to what we just came out of on Sunday into Monday. We're hanging around 50 by 10, back to the upper 50s to right around 60. That'll be our high temperature tomorrow. Sunshine will be dominant. Here's where we wake up tomorrow. Again, right around the freezing mark in Ocala. That is why we had the freeze warning. We talked about this last week to just keep all your plants covered until we got till tomorrow morning. And then you can let them see the sunshine again, because I think from that point on, we warm things up, though, far away from the freezing mark. 35 in Leesburg, Oviedo, we're at 37 when you start tomorrow. Here's a live look outside in Daytona Beach right now. Gorgeous shot here, really cool. The highway, 40 degrees. We have a mainly clear sky. The breeze, it's still evident, with gusts at times pushing 30 miles an hour, especially along the coast. And that's going to be something that we keep overnight tonight, and then as we go through the day tomorrow. So here you see the breeze gusting to 15 in Leesburg. Most recent gust in Claremont about 16 miles an hour, and it's still rocking along the coast. Look at that, 30 to 35 miles an hour for us right along the Space Coast into Melbourne, back to Miko, Cocoa Beach at about 25 miles per hour right now. We do keep that wind elevated tomorrow. You see it a little breezy when you wake up. So there will be a minor wind chill. It'll just shave off the temperature by a few degrees and how it feels on your skin. Back to about 20 to 25 miles per hour once we get into the afternoon through the early evening, and then we will watch things gradually subside into Saturday. Tomorrow, sunshine will be dominant, back to the lower 60s again. Very nice afternoon. Highs typically this time of the year are into the mid 70s. We are running about 10, 15 degrees below where we should be for this time of the year. But if you don't like the chill, improvements are coming. Here we go. A little chilly still when you wake up on Saturday morning, but we are warmer and away from any kind of freeze potential. Back to around 70 on Saturday. We will have a chilly morning on Sunday, 30s and 40s. High pressure settles in. We keep things clear, calm the winds down, and that's why we drop a little bit quicker on Sunday morning, rebounding nicely. And then from this point, we take off. Mid 70s for highs on Monday, back to the upper 70s on Tuesday, back to around 80 degrees Wednesday and Thursday. And look at those overnight lows. We're going to be running about 20 or 25 degrees above that freezing mark. Your plants are going to love this, Eric, if they're still alive.
I was just going to say that. And as I said, mine are definitely, defiantly dead. Jonathan, thank you. Still ahead, a local woman working to preserve part of Winter Park's history you may never even have heard of.
On New England Avenue here, that was the business area of the black community.
After the break, we're taking you to the west side of Winter Park, where reminders of the city's foundation are on full display.
Hannibal Square is changing, but its history is not gone. I'm News 6 anchor Ginger Gadsden. You're about to meet a woman who has lived it, and she is making sure that history is never erased.
When I grew up, we didn't even have a telephone.
Walking with Farrell and Livingston through Hannibal Square is like opening a time capsule.
Oh, I was born a block away from here at 800 West New England Avenue.
Now in her late 70s, Livingston grew up in Hannibal Square with her childhood home just blocks from Park Avenue.
On New England Avenue here, that was the business area of the black community.
Hannibal Square was founded on the west side of Winter Park in the late 1800s and became home to formerly enslaved people, black laborers, and families.
We came from a very cohesive community where education was very important. And of course, the churches played a big role.
While African Americans were largely excluded from living or owning property in other parts of the city, Hannibal Square emerged as a self-sustaining community during segregation.
This was the location of my elementary school. It's not the same building, but it's the footprint of where my elementary school was, where I attended in the 50s.
Long before the neighborhood looked the way it does now, with large homes, high-end shops, and restaurants, Hannibal Square was built on deep family roots.
So that house, it says family, that number on there, what is that?
Oh, that's your number.
That's my number.
Hannibal Square's story also challenges how people see Winter Park today, standing as a powerful reminder of Black history as foundational to the city's story, a legacy of resilience, community, and often unrecognized contributions from African Americans who helped build Winter Park from the ground up.
We have these three men here. The one holding the slate, the advocate, that was Gus Henderson. Gus Henderson had the first newspaper in Winter Park, Florida, and he serviced both the Black and white community. And then next to him, you would have Walter Simpson, and he was elected to the town council along with the gentleman next to him, Frank Israel. They were the first two Black men serving on the town council. They called them aldermen back in that day, and they served from 1887 until 1893. However, the whites went to the Florida legislature and requested that they overturn that election and remove Hannibal Square from the town limits. And the Florida legislature approved that.
This is a picture of the townspeople.
One way that history is being preserved and passed on is through a walking tour led by Jasmine Harris, manager of the Hannibal Square Heritage Center.
These photographs document African American life before desegregation and tell a very important story.
From clothes to cars to the everyday moments, the pictures tell the stories of the families whose own history is not woven into Central Florida's history.
It shows Hannibal Square as a living entity. The community is not dead. These people, they're still here.
The Hannibal Square Heritage Center is always looking for people with pictures and stories connected to this place. If that's you, they would love to hear from you. We've put a link into how to get in touch with them in this story. You'll find it on clickorlando.com. In historic Hannibal Square, Ginger Gadsden, News 6.
It's cold out there. I mean, it should feel cold. It doesn't feel that bad because we were really, really cold before that.
Right.
We're falling
This is
into
like
the 30s.
hot.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a
This is
break.
nothing.
Big warm up coming. More on that at 11.
No, I was cold. Yeah. We'll see you at 11. Thanks for sticking around. Appreciate you. Bye. I got the call.